I'm making some homemade dog food today, so I'm going to walk you through my process and show you what I put in it. So for the non-meat ingredients, all the vegetables, we've got some rice, some apples, sorry for the rustling, some beans, and a big old bag of carrots. So Sandy absolutely hates carrots if she can see them. She doesn't mind the flavor of them, but if she sees it in her bowl, she'll pick it out and plop it on the carpet. So I'm going to be grating the carrots into tiny little bits, so hopefully she won't be able to detect them. So I've got some bone broth that was simmering on the wood stove all night last night, and it's been cooling down for a few minutes. I'm going to strain it out and get ready to put the other ingredients in. So I have two large stock pots. One of them is on the stove right now with the broth in it. The other one is behind me, and I'm going to be straining the broth into that other stock pot. I'm going to use my big colander. And once I've moved the broth from the one stock pot to the other, I'm going to move it back to its original pot, and I'm going to strain it again with this fine mesh strainer. I want to get rid of any bone shards or little bits that I just don't want in the the final product. Something that is very handy in this process is a nice set of barbecue tongs. These pots are really deep, and I want to be able to get down in there to pull stuff out. And I'll show you that process later on. So for the meat component of the dog food, I have an amazing neighbor who, whenever she cleans out her freezer, she just gives us all of her meat for free. So I'm going to be using that meat today, and I will show you what I've got. So first up, we've got some chicken thighs, skinless. I think they're also boneless. A couple beef steaks here. A decent sized package of pork steaks, a bag of chicken drumsticks, a small bag of Alaska pollock, and the big one, we've got a picnic roast. So I'm going to be taking all of that meat and putting it into the bone broth. It's heating back up on the stove after I've filtered it out. And once that's been cooking for a while, I will go in with the tongs and pull out anything that has bones and debone it, and then return the meat back to the pot. This batch of dog food ended up being pretty big, so I've got half in one pot and half in the other, and I'm just going to add the rest of the ingredients. Now that all the ingredients are in the pots, we're going to let that simmer for a little while longer and eventually add the rice. So here's a look at what our dog food looks like after simmering all day. The carrots are pretty well disguised. Once we can this, they should disintegrate pretty well. I think she's gonna like it. So the dog food has finished simmering and we're gonna can it now. I've got the Presto on the stove. I'm simmering some jars to get them warmed up, and then we'll get this food in a jars. We have both pressure canners filled with jars. We have some jars left over, so I'll count all the jars tomorrow to see how much we ended up with. And we're going to be processing this following the directions for beef stew. So for us, that's 75 minutes at 11 pounds of pressure for the Presto, and 75 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure for the All-American. So it's the next day, and we ended up with 37 pints that are processed. We are going to have to do a third batch, and the remaining, I believe, 10 pints are out on the porch, and we'll process those later today.
Sandy girl.
She finished all her yummy breakfast.
What a good girl.
Licking the bowl clean. I think she likes it.
Yep. She's looking at your Band-Aid.
You could stop.